Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. This is Tina Gadja at Vichwat. Hope you've been having a fantastic week so far. And I'm joining you live again today to show you some more elements of how to make this paper quilled floral composition. If you've been watching me as I've been putting these tutorials together for the past 2 weeks, I hope you've been enjoying it. And I hope you watched the one where I displayed this one on Tuesday, and over Tuesday, Wednesday, and today I'll be showing you different elements and how to put them together. So first, what we did was I showed you how to make the paper scrolls. Then I showed you how to make these flowers, which make up the purple and yellow one. And these are made up of 3 elements. You've got the teardrop in the middle, you've got the moon, and then you've got the outside, which is in purple edging. I also showed you how to make this flower, which is made up of, again, 2 elements, 2 teardrops and the outside edging, which joins the 2 teardrops together, and that's the flower right here. Today, what I'm going to show you is actually how to make this gorgeous big flower using the quilling comb tool. Now, I did show you how to use the quilling comb tool. There is a tutorial, I believe I did that last week. I'll show you one more time today how to actually create individual pieces that come together to make petals like this. Okay? Can you see how it's made up of 5 different pieces in the middle, and then it's edged around? So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. In addition, what I will also show you is how to make the scroll. This is the scroll that I taught you before. Can you see there's quite a few scrolls in this composition? So I want to be able to show you, and by the end of today's tutorial, you should know how to make individual elements that make up this floral composition. So I hope you're excited as I am to show you this today, right? So for today's tutorial, what you will need is a comb. You can use this kind of a comb. You can use a wide comb that we would normally probably have in the house, or you can use this coat. And this is basically a template board that you use with multiple, if I can even open this properly, multiple pins that you slot into place. Here we go, like so. And this is such a versatile tool to use. So today I'm going to show you how to use this tool. What I'm going to do is actually tilt this camera so that you can see in detail what I'm doing. Bear with me just one moment. What else you'll need is paper strips, and to make the petals you'll need 2 different colors, one that makes up the inside of the petal and one that makes up the edging pieces. What you will also need is some glue. And to make the petal, that's pretty much all you'll need. We're going to tilt this camera just a little bit more. I hope you're able to see this better. Okay. So to start off with, when I made this, I started off with making this comb piece, and I'll show you how to make this comb shape. I put this to one side, and for the comb shape, what you need is lighter shade of the 2 colors that make up the petal. And using your strip, what you'll do is you'll place it in the middle of the comb, hold it with your thumb, take your glue. A few people have asked me what glue I use. It's nothing special. I just use the tacky glue. This is not working today. PVA glue or Anita's tacky glue. That's it. Nothing special. You can pick it up from any art store, any stationery store. I go to Range and I'm able to pick up bottles of glue for next to nothing. So what I've just done is I've actually created one loop against around 2 of these spokes of my comb, and then I'm going to go on the outside edge to the next spoke, turn it around and bring it over. So now you've got 2 loops. Can you see? All around each other. So you're creating just a spiral. Over and over. On the outside spoke, bring it over. You don't need to glue in between for this one, because when you glue it in the middle, what happens is it actually limits the versatility of creating multiple shapes out of this. Right, so I've contoured all the way around one at a time, and I'm going to bring it all the way to the top using my clippers, and I do prefer using clippers over scissors. Put some glue on the edge right there. The glue is not playing ball with me today. And just glue it together, okay? Divisha, we need tacky glue or PVA glue. You can pick that up from anywhere, any shop, even newsagents actually. So what I've done is I've gone and created a full combed piece. What you might find is because it's not glued, if you basically fiddle around with it, it'll come undone like this. Not a biggie, because when you've been coiling it around the comb, you can actually just hold it in place, one strip at a time, and roll it back up again. And you might ask, why would you not glue it in the middle? Like I mentioned before, if you glue in between, you won't be able to shape it. I love to be able to shape. This is the versatility of this kind of comb shape, that you can shape it in any which way you want. Okay, so to make this, we will make 2 of the wider combed pieces, and then we'll make a slightly shorter combed piece. And for that, what I do is I take my long strip and I fold it in half and snip it in the middle. It doesn't have to be precise. Just snip it in the middle and you start again. So putting it in the middle, holding it with your thumb, using your fingers, bring it from under, place a little bit of glue on top of, oh dear Lord, glue is not playing ball with me today. But that's okay. There we go. Now we're back in business. Roll it around and around again. Over, under, over, and under. Glue it up. Using both your hands, or your 2 fingers and your thumb, hold it like this and slide it out. If you've held it like that, it won't come undone. Okay, so what I now have is I now have 2 of the slightly shorter pieces, 2 of the longer pieces, and the third element that goes in there is the eye shape. For the eye shape, what I'm going to do is use the darker shade of strip I mentioned earlier. And for that, you'll need a slotted tool and your template board. If you remember, I showed you, I always try and use the template board so that I get precision pieces or precision shapes, and I'm not literally just winging it. So to use a slotted tool, take your slotted tool, take your strip, slot it in the middle, and curl the strip all the way through. Now, these slotted tools are available to buy on my website, which is www.vishwart.com. If you want them, place the order and I'll pass them out to you. Take the tight coil that I've created, tight coil out, Just hold it together and using your thumb on the hand that you're holding your tool with, push it out very gently. Oh dear, and sometimes this can happen. If you've actually curled it too tight, that's what will happen. I wasn't meant to show you this, but it's good that you know how to even make boo-boos. So this is what I love about quilling, that you can make boo-boos and you can start over. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Here we go. We're back in business again. I didn't do it too tight. So what I'm going to do is to make the shape that I need that goes inside here. I'm going to put the tight coil in a 20 millimeter slot, and I'll just let it unravel. Unlike the other ones that we've used before, this one becomes quite a loose coil. Can you see that? I'm using my tweezers, which are my favorite friend. I would not be able to do any of the work that I do if it wasn't for my tweezers. Just gonna glue this up, wait for a second, and then if you remember how to make the eye, you hold it together in the middle, just like so, and you pinch one side and you pinch the other side, and beautifully you have this shape. Okay, in the previous episodes, I've shown you how to make smaller eye shapes. This is the bigger one. The smaller ones were made up of the 12 millimeter, the 10 millimeter slots. So this is made up using 12 millimeter slot on your template board. I don't need the template board anymore, so I'll put it to one side. And now we assemble the petal. The way to assemble the petal, you take the two smaller pieces, your glue, and take your glue and put it on this inside edge. There's no inside or outside, on one edge of the smaller piece that you have. Okay, and then go ahead and stick the eye towards the end of the combed piece, not in the middle, but slightly to the end. This part is fiddly because it takes a few moments for it to actually stick together. You might want to give it a bit of assistance by using your tweezers so the glue sticks together nicely. You do the same thing on the other side. So you've got the eye. I'm going to apply some glue here, and using the smaller piece, will now basically case in the eye to create a slightly larger petal. Okay. And again, use your tweezers, give it a little bit of assistance to stick together. What you don't want to do is pinch it. If you pinch it, that's going to look really flat and it won't give you this gorgeous sort of wide petal effect. So don't pinch it, just very gently hold it in place. And if you have to, use your tweezers. Okay, I find it easier using the tweezers just to give it a little bit of assistance. You'll take the longer combed piece or shaped, and on the outside edge of your already created partial petal, you put some glue on there. And you'll stick this down towards the end. Remember, when we did this, we left the petal towards the end. We stuck the petal towards the end and we left a bit of excess at the top. Following the same principle, you'll do the same with the outside petal or outside shape, and that way you're creating this curvature at the top. Okay, you can see that there is a lot more yellow at the top than there is at the bottom. So I'm going to do that. Stick one side of it, pinching the bottom, and I'll leave it at that. And then on the other side, put some more glue on, and on the top end of the combed shape, and I'll stick this shape down. I'll pinch the bottom because I want it to sort of stick together, but not too hard, otherwise I'll be flattening the entire shape. Okay. Use your tweezers to hold it together just for a second or two. And if this happens, because it's not stuck together, don't worry, don't panic. Just hold it gently together and slot it back in. Okay, here we go. Are you enjoying this? Good. So, the final part that we're going to cover is the outside edge. If you notice, on here you've got the inside, which is the eye. Sometimes I get lost for words. And then you've got 4 pieces, and then you've got the outside edge, which binds the entire petal together. Okay, for the outside edge, we're going to use the darker shade of yellow. And to start off with, I'll put some glue on the outside edge of the petal and just stick the strip along the edge. And this time, when I come to the top end of the petal, I'll pinch it very slightly so I get that point. Okay, I'll do that. I'll stick glue all the way on the edge, outside edge of the yellow combed piece. And on again. And now I don't have to glue the rest of it because it's stuck together to the petal. Okay, and just curl it around, and as you come to the end, just stick a bit of glue on your strip and stick it down. Here we go. If you think you've been pinching it too much, just give it a little push downwards and it will widen it. So there we have a gorgeous little petal. Oopsie. Here we go. Now, so we've done the petals. We have 5 petals together. I've made before. There's no way I was going to make all the pieces here online live and bore you guys to tears. So that will create your petal shape. Okay, and if you remember in my previous tutorial, I showed you how to place and stick the petals together. So you follow those principles, you put a bit of glue on the edges and stick them together. Use the back of your board and the pins to hold them in place. And what I want to show you now is the center that I've created right here. Okay, so this is made up of not crimp, but how do you say it? What's the English word for it? I don't know. But basically, I've created this jagged edge, and all I've done is I've taken slightly wider strip, about a centimeter wide strip. Normally, I work with 5mm strips, but I've taken a centimeter wide strip, and all I've done is that I've actually trimmed or created this jagged edge, frayed it. That's right, I've frayed it using a pair of scissors. Now you can get these fraying scissors that allow you to make multiple, cuts at the same time, but I don't have those. So I've just gone and happily sat and mindfully go, which is great. So I've done that. I've taken the yellow, the orangey kind of a color, which creates the center part of the frayed center. And then I've edged it with the white, and I'll show you how to do that. So stick the 2 pieces together. Here we go. Okay. I've got 3 pieces, and I don't know exactly what kind of a length I'm going to need. So I've got 2 whites and 1 orange. I'm going to stick all 3 of them together and follow the process of creating a tight coil. So this might be a bit tricky. Frilling. Thank you, Tina. Frilling. I love it. I love it when my friends just hop on and go, yep, Tina, this is what the word you use, because English is actually not my first language. So I do struggle. And gently, very slowly, you just go and create this frilled center. Thanks, Tina. Okay, now this could get quite boring because you're having to hold it very tight, making sure it doesn't fray or it doesn't come apart. But every so often, what you might have to do is actually put some glue on so it sticks it in place and doesn't come undone or unravel. Okay. Yeah, I know, right, Tina? I've got a lot of patience. Many would think that I'm crazy. It's really good because I remember when I was going through a really bad health phase. If it wasn't for quilling, I probably wouldn't have come out of it as well as I did. Of course, there were other interventions, and for that, I'm really, really thankful. And for those of you who don't know, it was actually Sonali Parania of Enigma Healing that helped me so much to come out of a bad phase with her distance healing and Reiki and so much more. Just she's amazing. Okay, so in effect, that's what you're doing. You just keep going, keep going. And what I'm going to do, you get the idea of how to make this the frayed or frilled center. I'm going to cut this short right here. And same technique as you would when you're creating your coil. You use your thumb to push it through. And once that's done, you just fray it out like so. Just spread it out nicely, beautifully. And that creates your center. Okay, here we go. Now, I've done a bit of a trial today because I've gone live on Facebook, gone live on Instagram, and I'm live on YouTube. So for those of you who are on Instagram, say hello, or I will catch up with your comments later because I can't keep up with all the three cameras here. Here we go. So now I've created this frayed center, which will go in the middle of your flower. I'm going to assemble the flower using some glue. And what you want to do is when you're assembling it, allow a little bit of space in the middle so your center slots in quite nicely. You don't necessarily need to put the center in right now. Just assemble the flower. And the assembly is done by just putting a little bit of glue on the edge and sticking it down. Now, once again, what I haven't got is my pins out. I don't know why I keep doing that. I have a habit. I just put all my tools away, all of my tools away. And then when I start working, I'll just start taking one tool out at a time. And sometimes I forget. So we've assembled a 5 right there. Okay, I haven't stuck the final piece here because what I want to do is I want to create that three-dimensional effect. If you notice in the frame that I've done, the flower is not flat, it's actually quite raised, and there's a trick to raising it. If I go ahead and assemble, well, stick all 5 pieces together all at once, it won't do. So I do the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I assemble them like so, let them be, get them to stick together. And then once that's done, I'll actually lift it and stick the 5th petal together with the first one. And that will create that sort of curved effect. But right now, because the glue is still quite wet, it will just come undone. So I leave it like this for a little while. Filling, making flowers is a very, very, very slow process. You need a lot of patience to do it. As you have seen, the results are absolutely beautiful. They look great when it's done. So here, using the same technique as I've just shown you, I've created this flower which is now, in this case, made up of 6 combed pieces in the middle. So we've got 2 pink ones, 2 white ones on either side, and it's edged with pink, and it looks absolutely stunning. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely stunning. You may have seen this picture on the cover of my YouTube tutorial. Yeah, this is what I've done. What you can also do is just have simple pieces like this, and with that you can create leaves, make up the foliage that goes around this piece. Okay, next thing I want to show you is how to create these foliage and the scrolls that make up this piece, right? For that, you're going to need a number of different shades of green. So here I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 different shades of green that I'm going to use each strip to create the scrolls that are basically, I think YouTube can't actually see the scrolls, but here we go. These scrolls here and these scrolls here. Okay, I'll take one strip at a time. Go. I hope you all are having a good day. Do say hi if you've logged in on YouTube, on Instagram or Facebook, and do let me know which platform you prefer for me to do these tutorials on. Do you prefer it on Facebook? Do you prefer it on Instagram? Do you prefer it on YouTube? Or even, do you like to watch these lives, or would you prefer to just have videos uploaded for you to watch later? You know, every little feedback is so useful. So what I'm doing to create the scroll now is I'm taking a shade of green and sticking each strip together by applying a little bit of glue at the top. Okay. Here we go. So this is the fiddly part. I say this a lot, don't I? I say this is fiddly. Really, sometimes quilling can be fiddly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wider slotted tool, okay, and the 4 strips that I've created here, I'll put together and put it in my wider slotted tool. I use the wider slotted tool because the normal slotted tool is actually very narrow and not capable of taking 4 strips or any more than single strip at a time. So I use a wider slotted tool and I just go ahead and curl this all the way around. Just the way you would create a tight coil, I do that. Okay, can you see? And when you create this coil, it looks really good because you've got multiple colors or multiple shades coming through. It looks really pretty. So there's 2 things you can do. I'm giving it a bit of a tug at the end because I don't want to unravel it. The beauty about this is you're not going to end up with the unraveled coil I showed you earlier, the boo-boo. 2 things you can do. You can either leave it as a coil like this, which is basically this part here. It's not spread out. Or you can actually do the elaborate scroll, which is all spread out. I will show you how to do the elaborate scroll. And to do the elaborate scroll, what you do is you take the inside strip and by holding the other strips with one hand very tightly, you slide it out. Slide the inside strip very slightly. If you can see, it's actually coming quite distorted in the middle, but it'll look quite beautiful once you're done. Then holding the top strip with your middle finger nicely, take the second strip and pull that through. Can you see how that's coming together quite nicely? And keep the other 2 held, move to the third strip, and there you have your scroll. Once you're happy with the shape it's created here, go ahead and snip everything in one level, okay? And with a bit of glue, glue each end of the strips together. Okay, so it doesn't come undone, because once these things come undone, actually quite a nightmare trying to put it back together again. So here you have your beautiful little scroll. You can either leave it like this and very gently place it on the glue and on your final art piece, or you can have a thinner end like this, place a bit of glue in between the strips here so this stays flat and this stays scrolled up. I'm going to leave it like this because I quite like this shape. And that's pretty much how you create a scroll, an elaborate scroll. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I'm going to tilt this over and tilt this over. Wow, multiple screens. Sorry. There we go. So back on again. I hope that was interesting, how to create a flower like this, a frilled center, and a scroll, or a tight scroll here, tight curl, I think. And I'm going to leave it here now. These are pretty much all the elements that make up this art piece, in addition to having these shapes that create the foliage by just curling them over like so. And you'll see them right there, back here, up here, and I'm going to leave it at that for now. If you've enjoyed this, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, on YouTube. You'll find me at Pt.2 UK. And if there's any tools that you need, any kits, I'll have them available this weekend on my website. So feel free to go ahead and purchase from the website. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Sending you all lots of love and best wishes. Love you all. Bye-bye now.